But yeah, tell me
Yeah.
a little bit more about. Let's go with how you got into the hypnotherapy. First off, what is hypnotherapy for the people who don't know what it is?
hmm
Because I'm pretty sure that there's some misconceptions about that.
hmm
And then how you got into it.
So, yeah, hypnotherapy is working directly with the subconscious and basically reprogramming your brain. So there's therapy today where people are talking about their issues, and in hypnotherapy, you care less about the issue and more about when it first got stuck in the subconscious. And so you'll go back to, you want to regress someone, and quite often, and there's many different techniques, but if you want to take someone into hypnosis, what you're doing is you're turning off the front brain. So the logic mind kind of controls things and says, like, this is what I believe, and this is what I'm doing, and this is my final decision. And it can block information from coming in, because it's got a strong filter to it. But if you turn it off and you go into a state of trance, and you go into a state where the front brain or the logic brain isn't blocking, then you can input information into the subconscious. And what we'll do is we'll look for a time in a person's life when the belief, say you have a belief about money. Our family is poor, and we only make over a certain amount of money every year, and this is how we live, and this is a lifestyle I know, and I made the decision when I was 5 because I saw my dad and blah, blah, blah. Well, that belief system is in there, right? And you can be doing something in your life, and you can be working your ass off for something in the world, and you still have that belief system in there. So you're just going to constantly go back to that, right? Because that's your reference point of how the world works. So you go in and you turn off the conscious mind, and the person's in like a light trance, and then you restructure the memory around that belief, and you get them believing that they have always known and always felt what it feels like to have a lot of money and have this certain lifestyle or whatever it is that they're asking about, whatever it is they want. And you input that suggestion, you call it a positive suggestion, you input that suggestion into their subconscious, and then their brain and body just starts believing that. It's like, oh, well, this is how the world works. I always make a ton of money. I always have like a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. I think it's just a very, I think the power of suggestion. One thing for people who, I'd say the layman, when people are going to, when you hear trance, it's not like, you see a fucking clock swinging in front of you or all that stuff. Like people can get into trances on the daily. Like if you've ever listened to music so good or like lost in thought while you're driving and you miss your exit, that is a trance already. It is not mystical. It is shit that happens every day. Hypnotherapists and all that stuff, or people who can do hypnosis, or even mentalists, are just people who know how to use these, who are aware of these tools and use it. Like it's almost like you're dancing. You see people who can break. They're showing that you can do these things with your body, because they're aware of their body. Same thing with hypnotherapists. They know the power of the words and how it can be used to shift the mind. The regular person doesn't know it and then therefore they don't understand it. So, which creates a whole mysticism about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very logical. Like when you really get into it, it's not very mystical.
Yeah, well,
it's like
my disappointment.
I mean, people think of it's like, oh, this thing, like you're gonna get hypnotized. But yeah, I mean, we go into trance when we watch a movie, and that suggestion of whatever's in that movie is going into your subconscious. It's happening all the time. So you can, if you learn this stuff, you can control your own mind. Like you can positively suggest to your own mind, and you can know when you're in trance and how to take yourself out of trance, and how to input some piece of information into your own brain, and how you can kind of manipulate yourself.
Yeah, like you're talking about beliefs, like the common ones are like, oh, I'll never lose weight, or all men are this, all women are this, and that can come from even at a young age. I feel like much of it is from a young age, which is so like why it's so vital, which is why I'm like, even while you were talking about that, like the whole money thing, in my mind, I'm like, how am I raising my son right to have the proper belief system, but there's only so much I can do, because then some way he's gonna have something he needs to work on.
Oh yeah.
So that's one thing that's out of my control, but I'm just doing my best so he doesn't become a repeat of the past of like, you know, the whole thing of like, you know, this, I guess the quote unquote sins of our fathers or something, that they don't treat the way the grandfather treated the, you know, the son, and then just continues the endless cycle. So for me, I want to be the end of that cycle. So
check in with what he's saying. You know, the words that are coming out of his mouth are his belief system, especially for a child. Like you can tell exactly what's going on in their subconscious, and you can really work with it when they're younger. It's easier.
Yeah, and then when you were talking about the whole youth thing, it reminded me of something that I read in a parenting book. Why adults are the way they are it's because they got stuck in a particular level of development that they never got out of, which is why we're seeing some adults throw tantrums like toddlers. Because they probably stopped receiving us, like in the book I read, they stopped receiving a level of love to help them develop out of it.
Yeah, that, and sometimes we have experiences that are so strong that's what our memory goes back to. Like we have that, you got into a car accident when you were younger. It was a big, strong experience and feeling, and it can be associated with certain belief systems. And there's just weird things that we pick up that we hold on to our entire life. Like if you were with your dad in the car when you were 8 and you got into a car accident, your 8-year-old self probably created a meaning about love with your dad because of that car accident. And because in that moment, let's say you guys got into an argument right before there was a car accident. The car accident was so strong in your memory that it all got lumped together and all got locked into your subconscious that dad doesn't love me, because it was a strong event. You know, like there was this really strong moment that you remember for the rest of your life, and that is associated with dad doesn't love me because we just got into this argument. You know, there's weird stuff that people kind of piece together.
The human mind is wild because it makes connections. It's a connection making machine.
Yeah.